They were in high school when they met, and things got kinda awkward. With sparks in the air, he would stare at her in class, and she would try to act cool. But it was obvious, like, ooh, they would be together, ooh.
Hey everybody, it's Mickey, and in today's video I'm giving you a bit of a fall tour of my home as we are getting ready to prep for the Thanksgiving holiday. I usually do this tour earlier in the season, but I didn't get to it before my break and I wanted to keep my promise, so in today's video I'm going to show you all of my fall decor and even my Halloween dining room before it all comes down for Thanksgiving. So if you are new here, I hope you'll take a minute to subscribe. I put out new videos every week about all things home. So here in the family room, I thought we would start with our fireplace. This is always one of my favorite spots to decorate for any holiday. Now down below here on the hearth, I just have a basket that is full of quilts and blankets that we use to snuggle up in. We really don't watch TV in here, but this is usually where we would gather, you know, to chat and catch up with family and friends. Over on this side, I have one of my little bears, a couple family pictures. The larger picture in the back is just one of my favorites. It's of my father-in-law when he was a Boy Scout back in the 40s, and I have a little pine tree and pine cone. Above all this, on my wooden window frame, is a pumpkin hayride sign that I found on eBay probably 10 years ago, and I always look forward to putting this up for fall. Then I have some wooden bead garlands here, along with a pumpkin felt garland that I found at Home Goods. These wooden bead garlands are really easy to make on your own. You can buy the beads off of Amazon and just string them along with some twine, but now is a great time of year to find them if you want to decorate with them, because they always have a bunch of different sizes and collections out for Christmas, because a lot of folks like to use these as garlands on their Christmas tree. These I keep up all year long. I have them all over my house, and I just think that they give that a little bit of like a farmhouse feel to whatever you add them to. My mantle stays the same most of the year. I always have my pineapple pieces there on the end. I have my candlesticks that I got at Home Goods with birch tree candles from Kirkland's. Now you will see that all year long I have pine trees throughout my house. Pine is my favorite tree of all time. I love pine cones. I love all the different types of pine, you know, like the elm and birch and all those things. So my wreath there on the chalkboard is pretty much the same. I like to switch out the flowers for whatever season that we are in. Usually at Christmas time, I take that down and I add a big pine wreath with a wooden Christmas tree on it. But for the fall, I have some orangey red flowers mixed in with a moss-covered pumpkin down towards the bottom. As I said, you know, pine cones are some of my most favorite things ever. I collect them from wherever I go. I have collections from all the college campuses my kids have been on, and I have a son who is a huge camper and hiker. He is an Eagle Scout, and he always picks me up, you know, a few pine cones from the trails that he is on. As you can imagine, I'm a really cheap date, so it doesn't take much to make me happy. But this is one of the large pine cones that he brought back from one of his trips. I decorated for the holidays too. It's just hung here on this cabinet that has our TV behind it. Of course, we don't use a TV very often, so I don't have to move this. And over here, I have one of my typewriters I decorate for the season. I just have a felt pumpkin on top with some florals, and down below I have my favorite hiking picture of my son Dan and a bunch of pine cones from one of his trails. My centerpiece on the coffee table really doesn't change too much throughout the year. I just like to add a little bit, of the color of the season. I have it all stacked up here on a wooden pumpkin that I've had for a few years. The lantern is here pretty much all year long. Sometimes I change out the bow, at Christmas time. For the fall, I've just added a little fall pick with some pumpkins and berries and some florals. I also have down there my favorite leaves candle from Bath & Body Works, and peeking out from behind are some of my Rae Dunn Pumpkin Everything coasters. Alongside my sofa, I have a really large seagrass basket that I found at Target. I have a bunch of these baskets throughout the house, but this large size is really just perfect to add, a bunch of blankets or throws to. Toss a few pillows in there, and you have a really easy way to bring some of the seasonal color into your room. I use these large baskets mostly for display. I have some, on our lower level. I have some that I like to use on top of my taller cabinets, like this one in the corner that has a couple pillows in it. It just makes a really nice space to add some color and decor to your room. The large chalk painted cabinet is always a focal point in this room. It is probably one of my favorite pieces to decorate. On top there, I have some more of those seagrass baskets that I found from Target. Down along the front, I have more of the wooden bead garland and another of those beautiful wreaths that I found at Big Lots this year. One of the best things about having a more neutral backdrop in my house is that I can really interchange things in almost any room. So when I find something that matches in one spot, I oftentimes will repeat it somewhere else. Down below this wreath, I have that beautiful copper sign that I found at Hobby Lobby this year. I think that coppery color really goes well with all of the muted tones in the wreath and on display in this room. In the middle there is a big glass pumpkin that I have had forever. I bring it out almost every year as either a table centerpiece or tucked somewhere in all my fall decorating. The candles back here on the wooden candle holders I found at Hobby Lobby as well. They're battery operated. I just think they are so pretty and they blend so well with all of the fall colors. I have a couple of these ceramic pumpkins that I found at the Target dollar spot this year, and I just have a bunch of different fall picks that I have found at Hobby Lobby and Michael's. I kind of just put them all together to make one big garland here on the cabinet. Every year I try to change things up just a little bit. I like to make things a little bit different, gather different collections together and create a little bit of a theme. This year I added a little bit more of Halloween to my regular fall decor. It gives Halloween a little bit more time to be out and about because I just love all the whimsy of the Halloween pieces. I think it adds a little bit element of fun to everything and those traditional fall colors. I also bought a few new pieces this year. I got 2 of these wreaths from Big Lots. I just thought they were so beautiful. I loved all the muted colors that they used in this wreath. These are like my favorite colors anyway. I love the soft orange, that really light green that goes so well with lamb's ear. It made it so easy to just mix right in with some of the things that I already had. I did a little something different on top of my cabinet this year. I dug out one of my old Longaberger baskets. This is the picnic basket, and I thought it was just the perfect size. I found the pillow and the knit throw this year at Target. I just love the design on the pillow. I thought it was so pretty. The florals there I found at Michael's, and the big sign behind I have had for years. I just love it. It's from a company that I found online that unfortunately is no longer in business, but I really love the way all the colors blended together. I just think that it was a nice touch with that new wreath that I found from Big Lots. One of the things that I always look for in the fall when I head to Home Goods are those felt pumpkins. I just love them. I think they are so pretty. They're so easy just to, you know, stick in any spot in your house. I have a bunch of orange ones, some white ones. I have some really big ones that I have in the living room, and I just love the way they look. I always like to create my own little pumpkin patch going up the steps here. I just think that it looks so welcoming when you come into the front door. I usually decorate the living room pretty much the same every year. I always have that blanket there on the side of the sofa with the felt pumpkin, and I always love to decorate my typewriters, and it's usually with some type of vintage postcard, a big pumpkin with a fluffy bow on it. And this year what I did a little bit differently is I opened up my secretary desk over here in the corner. I had seen something like this on a Pinterest board, and I thought, what a great idea. You can, you know, open up the desk and add some more decorating space. So this year I added some coverless books there with some bookends that I found on Amazon. I added another one of my little vintage typewriters. This one is a 1940s, one of the first portable typewriters, and I have it all decorated with a little pumpkin, some lamb's ear, a picture of my mother-in-law and her sister. Next to it I have the postcard from my Halloween box that I got from DECOCRATED. I just thought this was so cute, and the colors match so well here in this room. My kitchen is something that you guys always see a lot of because of all like the cooking videos and things that I do. So I will just give you a quick tour because I think you have probably seen almost everything that I decorated in this room. I really love the simplicity of my table this year. I love the colors. I thought they were so warm and cozy. My table runner I found at Hobby Lobby along with the napkins. This really pretty pumpkin plate was a Target find, I think a couple years ago, and I think I've probably used them almost every year since. And I loved that the pumpkins that were in the Target dollar spot this year matched them perfectly. My table centerpiece was very simple this year. I just kept it in my Lazy Susan that I also found at Target. I added a wreath to the base and just kind of filled in the middle of it. I have some napkins, my Rae Dunn salt and pepper shakers. I have a little sign back there that I got from the Dollar Tree and a pumpkin or two that I got in the Target dollar spot. I always have this lamp on here. We use it as a night light, you know, in the evenings when we're downstairs watching television. So I just love things that are simple. I used to do a really big, involved tablescape every year, but I think keeping things simple has made it more useful for every day. Sometimes we just have dinner right on the plates here and wash them and put them back. Sometimes we just kind of, you know, slide them over and put a placemat down and have like a bowl of soup or something. So I really love the way the table was done up this year, and I think it'll be just great to carry us into Thanksgiving. I think I brought you guys along in an earlier video in the season when I put together our tiered tray. It's still pretty much exactly how I put it together. I have loved it over here on top of my cabinet that houses a lot of my Rae Dunn collection. This cabinet, believe it or not, I found on Amazon, and I just love it. It is just perfect right against this wall. It's a little bit taller, you know, than average, so I think it fills the space really nicely. Next to the tiered tray, I have a favorite picture of Rebecca from the fall and a pretty little mercury glass lamp that I also got on Amazon. And I know that I shared my 2 tiered trays on either side of my stove. I always decorate these for the season. This one over here has a really cute happy fall sign in the back there with a plaid truck full of pumpkins. I have a salt and pepper shaker, a big wooden pumpkin I think I found at Hobby Lobby. Down below I have a Rae Dunn canister and a little fall truck that I found at the dollar spot a couple years ago. And in the back there is a pumpkin spice sign that I made in a DIY last year. On this tiered tray, I have a Rae Dunn Pumpkin Love candle in the back. I have a couple signs that I DIY'd this year. I have a cute little orange pumpkin that I found at the Target dollar spot. Down below, I have this pumpkin spice season stack of faux books. This was made from a Dollar Tree crate. I think I shared that in a previous video. And in the back there also I have a little green plant, and of course it cannot be a holiday without one of my marshmallow cups in a stocking cap. And hanging here on my pantry door is that flower arrangement that we made. And I think my first video of the season, I used florals that I found at Michael's. This little basket itself I found on Amazon, and I used that beautiful plaid and printed ribbon that I found at Michael's this year. I had so much fun putting together my dining room this year. I know that Halloween is over, but I really did want to share with you how everything looked. This year I put most of my Halloween decor in the dining room, and I had it up all season. Halloween, of course, is my favorite holiday of the year, and instead of just waiting until, you know, like mid-October to put everything out, I decided this year to set it all up from the beginning so that I could enjoy it throughout the season. I am so glad that I did, because, you know, considering that I was gone the whole month of October, I was able to really enjoy it before I left, and it was here waiting for me when I came home. So let me give you a little bit of a close-up on some of the pieces in this room. The place settings are very simple. I just have a black charger plate there with some Rae Dunn dishes, a very simple black and orange check napkin, and each of the place settings have a Joanna Parker mug. This one is a little spider. I have the vampire mug on this side, and I think this is just perfect for a very simple spooky dinner. The centerpiece for the table is all built around the two-tier tray that I got in my DECOCRATED box. On top, I have a witch's hat that I found at Michael's with a big fluffy bow on it, and I have the tier tray all decorated with fun little Rae Dunn pieces. I have a couple mugs and some canisters on there. This big 31 sign was a find from the Target dollar spot a few years ago. I have everything resting on a Halloween sign that I found at Michael's. There are some black leaves and some sparkly beads all mixed in. I just think that it looks so fun and so perfect for Halloween. When my husband was redoing this room, I had asked him if he would put in an extra large windowsill here, because I like to put things on display, you know, for all of the holidays and all of the seasons. And I think this came out so cute. I love those little ghost signs. I found those at the Target dollar spot this year. The sign here in the middle, I think I found that at Kirkland's a couple years ago. And then all along here are different things from like Michael's and the Target dollar spot. I have a couple pieces from DecoCraters, and my little witchy poo down there I think is from Michael's. So I was really happy this year that I was able to decorate my corner cabinet for the holiday. Now this room has been used the last 2 years as my husband's office. We have since made him a big room down in the basement. He's still working from home, which is so great. I just love having him home all day long. So I was happy to get back into this room and kind of make it, you know, part of the house again. So I filled this corner cabinet with all of my Halloween Rae Dunn pieces. I think they look just great in there. So on this first shelf here, I have my trick or treat canister, my ghost hunting fuel pitcher. I have a stack of the mixing bowls with a big Halloween fluffy bow on it. On the second shelf here is probably my most favorite Rae Dunn pieces of all time. The trick or treat is a witch's cauldron, and on top of there I have a witch's hat dip tray that says spooky. I think it looks so great together. I just love pulling this out every year. I have my basic witch mug and my witch's brew mug right alongside. On the very top there I have my witch please canister along with my hocus pocus mug that kind of match. And I don't know if you can see with the light, but the one in the middle says candy corn. So I think it looked so cute all together in this room. It was great to be back in here and able to, you know, decorate it for the holiday. We have a small powder room here on our first floor off of the main hallway, and I always like to do a Halloween theme in this room. To the wreath that I always have in this room, I added some adorable Halloween ribbon that I found at Michael's this year. I also added an orange and black witch's hat and some witch's legs sticking out from the bottom here. Both of those I found at Michael's. Down below on the towel rack, I have a couple of things that I have had forever. That little trick or treat quilted piece is actually a table runner that I found at the beach probably like 10 years ago. And I think I may have found this little candy corn towel probably at like Home Goods or Pier 1 from like years and years ago. This is one of my favorite little tier trays. I found it at Target a couple years ago, and I change it out for all the different seasons and the holidays. And for Halloween, I have it decorated with this trick or treat sign that I found from Michael's. I have a little pumpkin candle there, and this really cute sign with the black pickup truck and the pumpkins in the back. Down below, I have a couple more things from Target on here. I have one of those little white houses. I think probably everyone has one or two of these. I have this cute little ghost sign that I found this year in the Target dollar spot. In the back there, I have a little clock and a little planter and this felt ball garland that I found on Amazon. I'm not sure if I'm going to be changing up this powder room for Thanksgiving or not. I think this Halloween theme is just so cute and happy, and don't we need a little bit more happy in our lives? So this has been my fall home tour. I will be having a bunch of Thanksgiving prep videos with recipes and table decor and simple ideas to make your holiday the best that it can be. Please join our communities over on Facebook and Instagram at My Bashful Life, and don't forget to subscribe. I have so many fun videos coming up for the Christmas season. I promise you, you don't want to miss a thing. So until I see you in that next video, I hope that you love the life that you have, be kind to each other, stay safe, and I will see you again soon. Bye!